Right, hello everyone, Sam here with a cup of doom on day 12. Day 12, I've been sitting here for about a minute waiting for my dogs to stop running around and just pattering. There's just pattering. They've both gone out the dog flap now, so I guess I have to do this. Okay, day 12, come on, make it a good one. Well, they're all lovely to any family members watching. They're all absolutely lovely. Right, okay. It's going to be a normal one. Oh, blimey. Draw the concept of happiness. Okay. Oh, how do you draw happiness? I did no good with the roses one. How am I going to draw? Okay. Who's happy? Oh, Edmund would be happy. He's found a friend and he's eaten a tangerine, and here comes my dog. Hello, Billy. Was that fun? Yeah. Did you eat anything you shouldn't? Probably. Right. The concept of happiness in picture form. Yes. The concept of happiness in picture form. Yeah, I tried. Basically, I don't know, is this a cop-out? This is probably a complete cop-out, but I draw her, the girl, and Edmund. Edmund is now firmly on her shoulder, walking along, and she is becoming happy with this. She's holding the little pink flower. I don't know what she's going to be doing with it, but she's going to try and fix it. And she's got little cute Edmund, who's all fluffy and nice. And she starts, I shall put the story here. Bing! There you go. I've got to get a better sound effect than that. But essentially, she just starts feeling this really uncomfortable feeling that she's either never had before or certainly doesn't recognise. And it's happiness is the idea. And that's the thing with happiness. I notice it in clients. I'm a therapist, by the way, if anybody wondered. But you notice it with clients that when they start fixing things, when they start, dare I say, feeling happier, it's very uncomfortable and weird. And I've heard that quite a few times, and I recognise it myself, where it's anything new, anything different is strange. And on some level, we fight a new feeling. And even though it's wonderful to start feeling happy, it's weird. It's just weird. It's not normal when you've been sad for so long. And so it is an uncomfortable feeling. And that's a strange thing to think about, and a strange thing for clients certainly to come to terms with, that this happiness feeling that obviously they wanted. I mean, they've come to therapy. Of course they want to feel better. But it is in itself strange because it's so different, and as such uncomfortable. So that's what I'm going with her. Obviously she has had some form of breakdown, something. This just stepping on this little innocent flower has kind of just finished her off, and she's on the ground, and then all of a sudden there's this little cute thing, she reaches out for this flower. This is the story anyway, and she reaches out for the flower in the hopes of fixing it or making it better, and then Edmund falls next to her, and sort of reaching for the flower causes life to sort of sprout up, or this different world, this sort of fantasy world that she's now in. And now she has found little cute Edmund, he's a simple fellow, is our Edmund. Give him Prince's dressing room and a tangerine, and he is happy. He doesn't think too deeply about things as our Edmund. He likes his feathers, he likes his lunch, and then he's happy with that. And I think that's sort of rubbing off on her a bit. And he's adorable. He's basically hamster-sized, and all snuggled up to her, and he's kind of falling asleep next to her, and he's got this little gentle snore, and it's just nice. And I guess this is sort of symbolic of her standing up and going to do something about her life, about whatever's going on for her. And that in itself is making her feel, momentarily anyway, for a little while, happy. But anyway, that aside, the actual drawing. I've gone back to the microns. To be honest, I mean, I'm not an artist. I'm not, and I'm sure other people are way smarter than me with all this stuff. But looking at the lining it with ink and looking at lining it with Micron, I can't see any difference, except I haven't made this page go all dimply. You can just see the page before where I used the ink and watered down ink and stuff. And I did better. It's not as wrinkly, but it's pretty darn wrinkly, and I can't really see any difference between using this and Copics and using the ink. I like it. So I like watercolour, so using it like that is very similar to watercolour, I think, anyway, except it dries so quickly. So it gives you an interesting, you can't mould it together as much as with watercolour. But I like the look. I like the look of using inks, and I don't mind it in this sketchbook and stuff if it goes a bit. But I think definitely every other page, at the very least, or every 2 pages, I want just with dry medium. I mean, I know it's ink and it's alcohol, so it's not dry, but you know what I mean. That's not going to make it go all funny. But yes, I've gone back to my little brush pen that I hope will not run out. I have a horrible feeling it's going. But just, I'm trying to figure out what my style is and what I like, to be honest. I mean, I can't do realistic stuff. I mean, certainly not right now, whether I ever can, God knows. But, I do more cartoony faces and things like that. And cartoony, is this cartoony? I don't know what this is. Illustrative. I'm sure there's posh words for everything out there, but this I can do better than trying to do something like photorealistic. Not a chance. But I'm still trying to figure out what actually is my style. This is my favourite. Flicking through the book I did last year. I did another Art Snacks sketchbook for this. And I out of all the different types, like the really coloured in stuff and the ink stuff, I preferred just this sort of black with a bit of grey shading, and just a little pop of colour here and there. But I tried something different with this. I think I'm going to get to it in a minute. But I as for her, I tried to make it look like she was walking at an angle. Why I picked an angle, I don't know. I didn't want her on her side and I didn't want her straight on. So I tried this sort of angle look, and I'm trying to make it look like her foot is going back. So her left leg would be shorter, because you can't see as much of it. I don't know. But that's what I'm aiming for. And this actually looks like she's going through something quite steep, so we'll go with that. But it was supposed to look like an angled path. That's what I aimed for. And yeah, I'm just doing this sort of cross-hatchy with this brush, just very sort of not neat kind of cross-hatching kind of thing. I don't know what I do. Don't watch this if you're expecting any help or teaching in that way, because it's just not going to work, really. I am doing my best. But then I decided, no, I'm going to do it in grey with a little bit of colour. But I decided to use, you've got the warm greys, tonal greys and neutral greys. So I used the warm greys on the trees because they to me, they have a huge hint of brown. I don't know about you, but especially maybe not compared to an actual brown, but compared to the other greys, these look brown to me. What do you think? Comment down below. I reckon they look grey. But yes, I used the warm grey on the trees. I think the neutral greys on her, and the tonal greys, I actually used tonal greys and a very, very light green on the different bushes. I used 2 greens, like G000 and I think YG000 or something like that, which is like a yellowy green, because I find the greens I have anyway go from really, really light, like hardly anything there, to yeah, that's green. So I gave it a little bit of colour, but it's not like coloured in. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever used those pencils that are like graphic tint pencils. I really like them actually. Not allowed to use them, are you? But I like using them. So it's just like a hint of colour, I hope. But yeah, there you go. That's what I tried. So this is new. I think it's the neutral greys. And this is the YG00 whatever. It just gives a hint of colour. I quite like that. I do want to try completely colouring one in, but for some reason it just doesn't seem inky enough. That makes sense. God knows. But that's what I'm doing now, and I use a different green for this other one down here, just to give it a different idea. Like there's different types of shrubbery. I still can't figure out how to do shrubs, how to do like the shading and stuff. So I'm just slapping it on, really, aren't I? To be honest, I'm slapping it on. Looking at here, I quite like it. And then there was a whole question of the ground. I haven't got one that seems that light, this grey. But I think this is all right. I want it to look sort of dappled, I suppose, because I suppose there's supposed to be like a tree canopy over the top of her. So the ground would be dappled, and I'm attempting a shadow wherever a shadow would be. Yeah, and then I kept getting braver with shading her in. This is like the lightest one I have, and then I go one up, and then another one up, and another one up, and I figured if I shaded that back leg, hopefully that gives more of an idea that that's bent backwards because of the shading, I think. And yeah, I just go a little bit darker each time on her. That's the darkest I go, I think. And I just colour in the heart. There you go, and the little flower with the pink, same as before, and obviously his feathers. Then I thought, I sat here for quite a bit of time staring at it, as you can see, thinking, do I colour this in? And I checked a few, and I sort of did it next to the tree, and I was like, do I want to colour this in black? And I thought, no, I went for the like N6 or something like that. So, and then I just went for it. I got brave, people. If I went over this again, it would be a lot smoother. That's a good thing about alcohol markers, but I quite like the dappled look. I suppose it's supposed to look more like sky. That's what I was going for. But yeah, I coloured it in, and then I thought, oh, how do I do his feathers? And her hair, actually. But this over the top of the micron, you can still see the micron, so that works okay. But our Edmund's feathers, the most important bit of the whole story, were interesting. So there you go. I just kind of went around them in sort of a jagged way and hoped that worked. He's got quite showy feathers now, bless him. He'd probably quite like this, wouldn't he? Look at my feathers. You can really see my feathers. But that's the best way I could figure out of doing it. I'm thinking about going back and using a jelly roll pen on it, actually. Just give it a bit of definition. I keep saying this, don't I? As I'm watching, as I'm speaking, I'm watching it play back to me. Way fast forward. And I keep thinking, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. But I've yet to go back and change it. I don't know if I want to change things. I want to learn from mistakes that I've made, but not change it. But anyway, that'll do. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe and all that wonderful business. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Just a bit more feather work. There you go.